News Radio 1000 KTOK at 646. Senator James Lankford is joining us. Good morning, Senator. I recently read in an article how Common Core standards are encouraging teachers to back off on literature and increase technical manual teaching. and I'm already bored on this, so I can't imagine how the kids are feeling these days.
Oh, I can certainly imagine. Good morning to you. The Common Core standards do encourage folks to learn how to be able to read manuals, and they'll say, well, that's something that more students will read the rest of their life and help them in job training. Learning how to read IRS code and manuals, it can't be more invigorating to be able to excite a student to be able to get up and go to class, to be able to read that, what adults even don't want to read. But thankfully, we just passed the Every Student Succeeds Act. That takes away the Common Core mandate entirely. And I've had folks say, well, it's secretly in there somewhere, and I would tell you it's explicitly stated multiple times in the bill that it goes away. Now, if some state wants to do Common Core, they're allowed to do that. That's states' rights. States can choose to do what they want to do, but this gets rid of a national school board. This gets rid of any requirements from the federal government that they have to do it a certain way. It removes the federal testing requirements. It is an enormous shift from where we've been in No Child Left Behind. Not perfect yet. We got a long way to go. We're still working with the administration, but it is a tremendous gain from where we've been.
Are you getting any enthusiasm from the administration, or will he just get out the veto pen?
I think he's going to sign it, actually. This has been one of those interesting things that the president's botched so many education issues so many times over the last several years, and a lot of Democrat states are even sick of trying to go to the administration and ask for an education waiver every time you want to do something innovative in your education. They've infuriated so many Democratic states even that we have the numbers, and we've passed it in the House and in the Senate. It's on his desk now, and I think he will sign it.
James Lankford, our senator on News Radio 1000 KTOK. Getting into what I was just talking about, terrorism, what did you learn from the visa waiver roundtable you had yesterday?
Yeah, I met with Border Patrol, with Department of Homeland Security, with State Department, other folks from the FBI and such, to be able to chat about where are we with the Europeans and certain countries in Asia and such that have what's called the visa waiver program, allows free travel back and forth because we know that their security systems are better in those countries, bringing them in, and we have some information sharing with them on individuals that may be on a terror watch list. That is still posing some issues and some problems that we're trying to confront. The president and others have said as long as we know they haven't traveled to Syria or Iraq, we'll be fine. My question yesterday circled around, we don't know the individuals that have traveled to Syria on the whole. They're not exactly getting their passports stamped by Bashar Assad when they come through checkpoints there on the border. They're illegally crossing between Lebanon and Syria or between Turkey and Syria and moving into the fight there.
Yeah.
So we have some serious issues, and we need to find better ways to be able to manage that. That was the central core of our meeting yesterday, and working on legislative proposals.
Yeah, it's not like the terrorists are going to tell the truth every time either.
No, they're not going to tell the truth. When they're coming through a border crossing and they're asking questions and doing biographical information, they're obviously intending to deceive from the very beginning. We just have to be smarter in our systems.
Well, and I've heard a solution talked about yesterday that sounds like it makes pretty good sense to me. I don't know how we'd implement it, but biometrics, where your fingerprint and your would immediately tell who you were and where you've been.
That is correct somewhat, as long as we have information on the other side, and we actually spend a lot of time in that conversation about fingerprinting on the other side of our border. We fingerprint every individual coming in the United States right now that's not an American citizen.
Oh, okay.
If you're an American, you come through passport control. If you're not an American citizen, we fingerprint every single individual coming through those points of entry. So that has been implemented, thankfully. We also have some good biometric information now where the cameras for non-citizens as they come through, when we look at their passport picture, we can scan their face as well and to make sure that face on the passport photo is the same as who's standing in front of you. The problem is if you start producing false documents, not every passport structure is a good passport.
Yeah.
Some passports have good chips in them to be able to verify who this is, and some do not.
And later today you've got the GAO hearing.
We do, actually. This is a really important hearing with the Government Accountability Office and the Office of Inspector Generals. The one who heads that up for the federal government will be in front of my committee today to talk about waste and fraud and duplication in federal government, some recommendations they have made. The Government Accountability Office has been a very good place within the federal government to identify some of this fraud. In fact, the fumble book that I put out last week had several of the recommendations from GAO in it. Some of those we will discuss today And it's not just a matter of identifying. Today really focused on how do we get rid of it? How do we actually implement these recommendations? GAO will make many recommendations. About 80% of those have actually been implemented, which is a really good number. But the other 20% unimplemented is still billions of dollars in savings for the taxpayer. And we're going to work through trying to implement those last 20%.
Senator James Lankford's having a busy week on News Radio 1000 KTOK.